Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all the devotees for the second session on the occasion of Jagannath Rath Yatra. Yesterday we discussed from the 11th chapter of Madhya Lila, and today we will discuss the 12th chapter, which is known as the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. तासबार प्रसादे मिले श्री प्रभुर पाए, प्रभुर कृपा बिना मोर राज्य नहीं भाई. Pratapratur Maharaj is still in a state of lamentation, disappointment, and great expectation that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would reciprocate with him and bestow his mercy. So he approaches all the devotees in Jagannath Puri and he requests them that simply by your grace only I can get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Otherwise, it is not possible. And he makes a very important statement. Prabhu kripa bina more rajye nahi bhai. Without receiving Lord Chaitanya's mercy, I do not find any appeal in this kingdom. And therefore, the main wealth which I am looking for is the kripa dhan, the wealth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and grace. And then he says, I want all of you to appreciate the level of my desperation. And he says, Yadi mori kripa na koribe gaur hari, Rajya chhadi yogi hoi ba bhikari. He says, if all of you do not give your mercy to me, then I declare that I will give up my kingdom, I will become a yogi, and I will simply become a begging mendicant. I have no attachment to any of my wealth, I have no interest in any of this. The only interest I have is in the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, he says that I really want desperately to have darshan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Nityananda Prabhu hears this, he becomes little alarmed and he starts thinking that if we do not do something very urgently, then we actually will be caught up in the midst of a huge scandal, because the king is contemplating leaving everything, becoming a mendicant, and then it may happen that he may give up his body also. So this is a very important point that Nityananda Prabhu is speaking here, that we have to somehow encourage the king and make sure that the king remains encouraged. They approach Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu looks at them and says, all of you are standing without speaking anything. You have any message for me? Nityananda Prabhu says, my dear Lord, we want to speak something, but we are very afraid that you will be angry and you will chastise us. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, you please share what is there in your mind. So Nityananda Prabhu says, my dear Lord, the king of Orissa, he is in a very desperate state. He is aspiring to receive your mercy, but since you have rejected him, he is contemplating to become a beggar. He will give up the kingdom, he will wear the clothes of a mendicant, and he will accept the occupation of begging. And he says that I have only one desire. Dekhiba se mukha chandra nayane dhariya, dhariba se pada padma hridaye tulya. He says, I have only one desire, to have darshan of the beautiful lotus-like face of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to hold his lotus feet and raise his lotus feet upon my chest and accept the dust of his lotus feet upon my entire body. I have no other desire, I have no other goal. And Nityananda Prabhu speaks further. He says, this is a very, very urgent plea. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, well, if all of you want me to go to Cuttack to see the king, then I will do so on one condition. What is that? Toma sabara agyaya ami na mili raja re damodar kahe jabe mili tabe tare. He says, if Damodar Pandit gives the instruction, then I will go and meet the king. Not if all of you tell me. So there is an intended sarcasm in this particular statement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been noticing the behavior of Damodar Pandit. Damodar Pandit, out of his unlimited intimate love for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, would take upon himself the responsibility of speaking out his mind, expressing his feedbacks without consideration of the etiquette. And therefore Mahaprabhu is mentioning here that I shall go and meet the king if Damodar gives the permission. So Prabhupada mentions a very important lesson. A devotee or a disciple should never attempt to criticize the Lord or the Lord's representative, the spiritual master. And therefore, Damodara kahe jabe. Prabhupada gives a detailed purport on this particular word used by Mahaprabhu. That if Damodar Pandit tells me, what he wants to say is that although Damodar Pandit is a staunch devotee, he is a staunch lover of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and a very faithful devotee. There is no doubt about that. But to the extent that anything which he felt would affect the Lord and Lord Chaitanya would be criticized, he would immediately point it out. And sometimes, while speaking, he would not consider the social dimension and how others would perceive it. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making a point that a devotee must be very conscious about his boundaries with respect to Vaishnava etiquette. And Prabhupada mentions this point. What is the message Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to convey? The first point Prabhupada says, fools rush in where angels dare not. He says that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually making a point to Damodar Pandit that you have been liberally criticizing me, apparently to correct me for my benefit. But I am warning you, you should not criticize me anymore. And this is not befitting your position as a devotee. So then Prabhupada asks in this same purport the question, why did Mahaprabhu take this opportunity to give a feedback to Damodar Pandit and give him a very stern warning? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered the guide and the spiritual master of all the devotees living in Jagannath Puri. And Damodar Pandit was one amongst them, and the Lord rendered Damodar Pandit a special favor by warning him to avoid criticizing the Lord any further. And therefore, this is a very beautiful purport given by Srila Prabhupada in the Madhya Lila chapter 12, text 25 purport. You can have a detailed look at this purport later. So now, Damodar Pandit, he responds to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he says that, my dear Lord, who am I to give you any kind of indication that you should meet the king? You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am an insignificant jiva. If you decide by your infinite free will, you will do so. I can understand one thing, that Maharaj Prataprudra has deep affection and attachment to you, and your quality is you become overwhelmed by a devotee's love. So I can see that in the near future, King Prataprudra Maharaj is going to receive your mercy. And then he says, Yadyapi Ishvara tume parama swatantra tathapi swabhave hau prema paratantra. My dear Lord, you are the supremely independent personality of Godhead. Yadyapi Ishvara tumi parama swatantra, you are supremely independent. But still, you have one quality and one nature. Tathapi swabhave hau prema paratantra. You come under the control and the influence of the devotee's love. And in the conclusion of the Damodar Leela, Shukadeva Goswami establishes this principle. Evam sandarshita hyanga harina bhrityavashyata swavashenapi krishnena yasyedam seshwaram vashe. The purpose of performing the Damodar Leela was that when Krishna is tied by Yashoda Mai with ropes, Krishna refuses to be tied by the ropes. But then finally, when Yashoda Mai's love overflows, by the power of that love, she is able to bind Krishna. To demonstrate this principle, evam sandarshita hi anga. What principle? Harina, that Lord Hari, bhritya vashyata, comes under the control of his devotee's love. Swavashenapi krishnena, that Supreme Lord can only be controlled by his own will. Yasyedam sa ishwaram vashe. Nothing else within this entire creation, including the 330 million demigods, can control Krishna. And therefore, Damodar Pandit makes this very important philosophical point. Tathapi swabhave hau prema paratantra, that you are under the influence and captivity of your devotee's love. So at this point, Nityanand Prabhu makes a suggestion. And he says, my dear Lord, who is there within the three worlds who can dare to ask you to go and meet the king? But please consider the emergency situation we are in. Kintu anuragi loka swabhave eka hoy, ishta na paile nij prana se chhade. The nature of lovers in this world is, when the love of a lover is not fulfilled and the lover is unable to meet the beloved, sometimes they get so overwhelmed with frustration and hopelessness and depression that they may commit suicide also. And therefore, ishtana paile, if they do not get their beloved, nija prana se chhadai, they can give up their life also. And therefore, Nityanand Prabhu says, I suggest the middle path. And what is the middle path? The middle path is, you should be able to send some article of yours where the king can meet you and you do not have to directly meet the king. The king needs to know that your mercy is there. The king needs to know that yes, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is coming. He needs to get hope. And you need not meet the king also. How can it happen? My dear Lord, why don't you send your outer cloth? and simply by sending your outer cloth, the king will get encouragement and hope that today the Lord has sent the cloth, tomorrow he may personally come. And therefore, in a state of utter and total hopelessness, the most important service we have, my dear Lord, is to provide hope to Prataparutra Maharaj. Ek bahirvas jadi deh kripa kori, taha paiya prana rakhe tomar asha dhuri. Therefore, it is not that article which is important. It is not that cloth which you have worn which is important. The important thing is that particular cloth is an indication of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's willingness to accept Prataparutra Maharaj. That cloth conveys the message that do not be hopeless, there is hope, and your desires will be fulfilled, you will get shelter. And therefore, in the association of devotees, each and every devotee must have this maturity, sensitivity, the empathy, the discrimination, the ability to understand what to speak and when and how, for the single purpose to make sure that the lamp of hope continues to burn in the hearts of the aspiring devotees in that association. And so when Vibhishana came all the way from Lanka and came right in front of Lord Ram, at that time he says that Sarvaloka Sharanyaya Raghavaya Mahatmane Nivedayata Mam Kshipram Vibhishanam Upastitam. He says, my dear Lord Ram, who gives shelter to the entire universe, I have a request for you. Please accept my surrender quickly. Nivedayata Mam Kshipram Vibhishanam Upastitam. So the Acharyas explain why does he use the word Kshipram, quickly. Because after millions and millions of lifetimes, a particular window in the time opens up. And when that window of opportunity at a particular moment opens up, and the soul expresses a desire to move on the path towards surrender to Krishna, it is an extremely important and crucial moment in the journey of that soul within this creation. And just like medical emergency, doctors who are in medical emergency are always on high alert in the intensive care unit. Firemen are on high alert when they are trying to put out a fire in a raging inferno in a building. The policemen, they are on high alert when they are engaged in any kind of an emergency situation. Like that, a devotee is on the high alert to note when is that throb of desire to surrender to Krishna and come closer to Krishna beginning in the heart of a conditioned soul. How to inspire that desire, and if that desire has already been ignited, how to grow that desire, how to facilitate that desire. And therefore, each and every devotee in the community of the Vaishnavas has to be on high alert and sensitive to see any symptoms and signs of how they can bring the soul closer and more intimately connected with Krishna. And that is exactly what Nityananda Prabhu is suggesting. That, my dear Lord, let us send your outer cloth, outer garment. Doesn't mean much to you, but it means the entire life to Prataparutra Maharaj because he sees that as hope, that yes, Mahaprabhu will accept me. Vastra paya rajar hoila ananditaman Prabhu Rupa kori kore Vastrera pujan. When Mahaprabhu sent his Vastra, as soon as Prataparutra Maharaj received that cloth, he just felt overwhelmed with gratitude. And this is an extremely important quality for a progressing devotee. Gratitude indicates that yes, I acknowledge the Lord's reciprocation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is described, Tam sukharadhyam rijubhir ananya sharanen kritagya kono seveta duraradhyam asadubhi. Anyone who has kritagyata or gratitude in his heart, for such a person, bhakti or devotional service becomes very easy. And if someone does not have kritagyata or gratitude, it becomes extremely difficult. And therefore, kritagya word comes from krita and gya, to remember what someone has done for me. And therefore, as Kali Yuga progresses, as the memory is going down, the greatest casualty is loss of memory of who are those souls who have benedicted us, benefited us. They have displayed their benevolence towards us. They have reciprocated with us, helped us in our life, in our material life, in our family life, in our spiritual life. And because of loss of such memory, relationships are affected. And so, Prataparutra Maharaj here had this excellent quality. He did not think everybody else is getting Mahaprabhu's direct mercy, direct embrace, and I am the king and I am receiving only the cloth of Mahaprabhu. What is this? No. This expression of gratitude further indicates that although Prataparutra Maharaj was the king, he had the genuine humility of a purified Vaishnava. And therefore he did not think, how can I get only this cloth whereas everyone else got direct mercy? No. A devotee is simply concerned with his individual relationship with Krishna. Because the satisfaction in the deepest core of our heart comes not by seeing someone else's relationship with Krishna, but by being absorbed in my relationship with Krishna. And therefore, there is not much value in comparing and getting bewildered and disturbed by comparing with different people's spiritual journeys, because each one will have their set of challenges, difficulties, rewards, etc. Everyone has their individual journey. So Prataparutra Maharaj did not compare that, oh, Ramananda Rai is my governor, he is subordinate to me, he got so much of mercy, he got to sit and discuss with Mahaprabhu in detail, he is so intimate with Mahaprabhu, I have not even come to stand in front of Lord Chaitanya till now. No. Prataparutra Maharaj was humble, he was grateful, and because of his humility and gratitude, he was willing to wait and he had patience. So therefore, all these are connected qualities. Impatience is a sign of pride. It's a sign of losing gratitude. And therefore, Maharaj Prataparudra is actually pleasing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by demonstrating these attitudes. So at this point, Prataparudra Maharaj again approaches Ramananda Rai. And he says, O Ramananda Rai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so merciful to you in South India. Amanistare tomar iha agaman parama dayalu tumi patita pavan. Ramanandra tells Mahaprabhu that you have come to deliver me when they meet in Kovur, in Rajamundri. Ved Nishta Madhye Ardek Ved Mukhe Mane Ved Nishiddha Papa Kore Dharma Nahi Gune. And then he says that actually I am fallen and by your association I'll get transformed. But Mahaprabhu switches roles and says, you should speak Harikatha, I should hear from you. And then Mahaprabhu becomes a student. Ramananda becomes the teacher of Krishna Katha. And Mahaprabhu, after listening from the lotus lips of Ramananda, says, Prabhu kahe aage kah shunite paye sukhe, apurvam nadi bahe, tomar mukhe. There is an unprecedented river of nectar flowing from your lips, O Ramananda. Please continue speaking. So everybody in Jagannath Puri knew about the intimate relationship which Sripad Ramananda had with Mahaprabhu, and in fact it was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who insisted that you, Ramananda, should take retire from active politics, retire from your governorship, and you should come to Jagannath Puri because I am so attached to your association. I want to sit and discuss Krishna Katha with you continuously. So very few people Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally solicited to invite them to come and stay with him. So Pratapratura Maharaj is aware of this, so he is saying that why don't you go and you request so that we can have darshan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Ramananda Rai goes to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he starts glorifying Pratapratura Maharaj's devotion to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. Rajamantre Ramananda Vyavahare Nipun Rajapriti Kohi Dravaila Prabhurman. Ramananda is described here as Rajamantri, as a politician. Vyavahare Nipun, who is expert in dealings. Rajapriti Kohi, he is explaining about the love of the king Pratapratura Maharaj and trying to melt Lord Chaitanya's heart. So Prabhupada mentions a beautiful purport. He says, the quality of a diplomat like Ramananda Rai, who was a governor and is called as Rajamantri, is that he knows how to deal with people in the material world, especially in political affairs. And Prabhupada mentions Ramananda Rai, Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, some of the most intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were all politicians. Of course, Raghunath Das Goswami was the son of a big businessman, but he knew how to deal. So some of the most intimate associates like Sanatan Goswami was Prime Minister, Rupa Goswami was the Finance Minister, Ramananda Rai is the governor. So some of the most intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were politicians before they surrendered to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But although they were politicians, they never played politics. And here it is described that the diplomacy of Ramananda Rai and the requests and entreaties of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and all the Vaishnavas were all trying to bring Pratapratura Maharaj closer to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, this is the favorable, positive use of one's diplomatic and political skills in Krishna consciousness. When Ramananda is trying to bring a soul, Pratapratura Maharaj, closer to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if one uses one's diplomatic and political skills to distance a soul from Krishna and to distance one devotee from another devotee, then that is unfavorable. But if someone has these skills and it can be used to bring the souls closer to Krishna and to bring the Vaishnavas closer to each other and improve the unity and the collaboration and the cooperation in the Vaishnava Sangha, then that is favorable for Krishna consciousness. So Ramananda Rai tells Mahaprabhu, please show your lotus feet to the king, my dear Lord. Lord Chaitanya says, well, if I as a mendicant meet the king, the whole world will laugh at me. It will be considered a big joke. Ramananda Rai, Ramananda kahe tumi Ishwara swatantra, kare tomar bhay tumi nahe paratantra. Ramananda Rai says, my dear Lord, you are supremely independent. Whom are you afraid of? You don't need anybody's permission. You give your mercy, no problem. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately says, Shukla vastramasi bindu jaichena lukai sanyasira alpa chhidra sarvaloka gai. He says, oh Ramananda Rai, you don't understand. Just like in a white cloth, one small patch of black spot is seen. Like that, the sannyasi's character should be beyond suspicion. Otherwise, people will criticize. Ramananda Rai says, my dear Lord, I have a question for you. Rai kahe kata papir koryacha avyahati Ishwara sevaka tomar bhakata gajapati. My dear Lord, millions of souls you have delivered in your South India tour without asking anybody are they Vishayi or not. This Prataprudra is Jagannath's devotee, is your devotee. What will be the problem if you give mercy to this one king? Why are you being so unreasonable and strict? Prabhu kahe purna yaiche dugdhera kalash surabindu pate keh nakore parash. Mahaprabhu makes one more argument and he says, just imagine Ramananda that I give you one pot of pure milk, ahimsa milk, and in that one pot and jar of milk I pour in one drop of liquor. Now the question is that jar of milk or has it become liquor? So therefore, Prataprudra Maharaj undoubtedly has several devotional qualities. Yadyapi Prataparudra sarva gunavan tahare molina koila ekarajaranam. But actually, only one word is making him disqualified. Raja, that king. And therefore, I cannot accept. But you send Prataparudra's son, I will accept him. And so immediately Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya organizes for Prataparudra Maharaj's son to be brought. When Mahaprabhu sees Prataparudra Maharaj's son, he becomes astonished to see his beauty. Sundara Rajara Putra Shamala Baran Kishora Vayasa Dirgha Kamala Nayan. And he sees his beautiful form, blackish complexion, lotus-like eyes. And Mahaprabhu embraces him, gives him pure love of Krishna, and he declares to everybody, Ei Mahabhagavatya Haradarshane Brajendra Nandana Smriti Hoy Sarvajane. I declare the son of Prataparudra Maharaj to be a Mahabhagavat. And simply by seeing him, I declare that anybody who has darshan of the son of Prataparudra Maharaj will immediately remember Krishna. And in this way, Kaviraj Goswami establishes sei hoite bhagyavan rajar nandana prabhu bhakta gana madhye hoila ekajan. That Mahaprabhu was very open-minded. He did not consider qualification based on birth. Because if it was based on birth, if father is considered Vishayi and unqualified and a materialist, then son would also be considered unqualified if Mahaprabhu was following, qualification based on birth. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is establishing that Prataprudra Maharaj's son is a Mahabhagavat, although he is repeatedly calling Prataprudra as a Vishayi, which shows that we cannot predict how Lord's mercy will flow in different devotees' life. The timing, the way, the extent to which mercy is received by each soul will be uniquely dependent on the supremely transcendental will of the Lord, and we cannot judge. And therefore, a day before Prataprudra Maharaj's son was an ordinary boy. Next day, by Mahaprabhu's embrace, he became a pure devotee. And therefore, we should always remember, anyone who connects with the association of devotees and starts practicing the process, at what moment that devotee's spiritual life will suddenly take an upward trajectory and he starts flying towards Krishna cannot be predicted. And therefore we should always be respectful to all devotees, because the advantage is, if some devotee advances suddenly and becomes very elevated, and we have a good relationship with that devotee, then because of our intimacy and love and affection with that devotee, we will also get benefit of that devotee's spiritual advancement. So now, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gathers all his Vaishnavas and calls Kashi Mishra and calls the superintendent of the Gundicha temple. And then he tells that, yes, I am going to now conduct the marjan or the cleansing of the temple. And the superintendent says, my dear Lord, it does not befit you to do that. We will take care of it. You don't have to do. No, Mahaprabhu says, no, I will personally do this. So they brought lots of brooms, they brought lots of baskets, pots. All of these were brought. On the day of the Gundicha Marjan, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smeared sandalwood pulp on each and every devotee, personally gave a broom in each devotee's hand, and then goes to Gundicha temple. Charidike shata bhakta sammarjana kori apani shodhena prabhu shikhana sabare. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged hundreds of devotees to cleanse the Gundicha temple, and Mahaprabhu was personally also cleansing. And therefore, Mahaprabhu was leading from the front, setting the example in the Gundicha Marjanam. And so various qualities Mahaprabhu demonstrates, which are very important qualities for us in progress of our Krishna consciousness. This Gundicha Marjan pastime represents the Anartha Nivritti or purification of the heart. And the purification of heart is facilitated by many of these qualities. And the first is enthusiasm. Premolasa shodhena loena Krishna nam bhaktagana Krishna kohe kore nijakam. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees, they were enthusiastically cleansing the temple as if they had 5 hands. They were not laid back, they were not complacent. And one should perform one's services with great enthusiasm. Use of intelligence on how to do this better. Second, धूलि धूसर तनु देखिते शोभन जहाँ कहाँ अश्रु जले कोरे सम्मार्जन. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was cleansing the Gundicha temple, different parts of his body were covered with the dust and the dirt. Dhuli dhusar tanu, and Mahaprabhu's transcendental effulgent golden form had these blackish marks at different places which enhanced its beauty. And Mahaprabhu did not even notice it. So the second quality which a sadhaka must practice is absorption. One must be totally absorbed in serving Krishna, in practicing Krishna consciousness, that he does not notice any inconveniences. Just like when Giriraj Ji was held on the little finger of the left hand by Krishna, simply by the touch of Krishna's left finger, Giriraj Govardhan was filled with so much of ecstasy and joy and gratitude that he did not even feel the thunderbolts fall upon him. Trinadhule jhinkura sab ekatra koriya bahirva se layya khilaye bahir koriya. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu collected all the different particles of dust, dirt in his cloth, and after collecting it, he prepared to throw it out outside. He gathered it in a cloth and threw it outside. So Mahaprabhu performed this entire cleansing of the Gundicha temple in a very systematic manner. Our approach to Krishna consciousness must be very systematic. And therefore Srila Prabhupada has facilitated this by giving us the ISKCON society, by giving us a systematic morning program, a systematic way of practicing bhakti with 16 rounds, with following the principles and deity worship. So the practice has to be systematic. And Mahaprabhu cleansed the Gundicha temple very, very systematically. And now Mahaprabhu calls the devotees and gives them a very important instruction. Prabhu kahe ke kata koriya chha sammarjan trinadhuli dekhili janiba parishram. Mahaprabhu says, because hundreds of devotees are there, you may think, I'll move my hands here, I'll move my cloth here, I'll move the broom here. And because so many are there, it is very difficult to evaluate who is doing what. Mahaprabhu says, no. I am going to set goals for each one of you. And to whatever extent you are able to collect your dust and dirt, you have to individually collect it. And then I will inspect how much you have collected. And therefore, by seeing the volume of the heap of dirt you have collected, I'll understand how much effort you have put. Trina dhuli dekhilai janiba parishram. So the fourth quality is, while practicing sadhana bhakti, while engaged in devotional service, we should set goals. And these goals should be measurable. Srila Prabhupada would do that, and therefore he set goals for book distribution, for temple construction. He set goals for chanting a certain number of rounds. So these are all measurable goals, and these are very important. So Mahaprabhu is playing the role of an excellent leader, where he is expressing his expectations very clearly, so that there is no ambiguity. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu allotted areas to different devotees to clean. And so as a spiritual leader and as part of our sadhana, we have only 24 hours and we get an overload of various things and expectations from people. How do we manage that? So the fifth point is every devotee has to learn the art of delegation. Within these 24 hours, now at this particular point of time in my sadhana, in my bhakti, in my journey in Krishna consciousness, what are the services which I should do myself personally? What are the items I should delegate? Yes, I used to do this before, but should I continue to do this? Yes, now it is time for me to prioritize this. So, delegation is very much dependent on a continuous process of introspection and re-evaluation of our priorities. And so, in order to also scale up and in order to spread Krishna consciousness far and wide, delegation is extremely important, and so also is teamwork. So the fifth quality is delegation and teamwork. Sixth, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered everybody to be very thorough in their cleansing. And in our practice of Krishna consciousness, spontaneous bursts of enthusiasm are not as important as a thorough approach to how we focus on chanting, how we study Srila Prabhupada's books systematically. ISKCON has distributed more than 500 million books in the last 55 years of its existence, 54 years. ISKCON may be having currently more than 200,000 initiated devotees across the whole world. But we have only 8,000 devotees who have Bhakti Shastri degrees so far, which is kind of an indication of the priority given to systematic Shastric study. And therefore, we have to approach, as Srila Prabhupada said, you must study my books thoroughly. We must worship the deities with cleanliness and punctuality and be thorough in our approach to Krishna consciousness. Then, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally jumps on the altar of Gundicha, that altar on which Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra are going to be placed. Sri Haste Karena Simhasanera Marjan Prabhu Aage Jal Ani Deya Bhaktagan. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his own hands started cleansing it, and people were bringing an offering water there. So with hundreds of devotees cleansing in that particular compound and within the temple precincts of Gundicha temple, Mahaprabhu had the discrimination to choose which areas of the Gundicha temple I will personally clean depending on the degree of importance, depending on how critical that activity and area was. So being the leader, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept the most critical task which he felt he should do, and then he prioritized that. And therefore Mahaprabhu personally cleansed the sanctum sanctorum, the place where Jagannath ji would personally come. And then there were devotees who were pouring this water, and Mahaprabhu was, taking that water and pouring it on that slab on which Jagannath would come and sit. Nija vastre koila prabhu griha sammarjan Mahaprabhu nija vastre majila simhasan. And Mahaprabhu took his own cloth and started wiping with his own cloth. He did not bother whether his cloth will become torn or dirty or what. And in this way, Mahaprabhu continued cleaning till Shata Ghata Jale Hoila Mandira Marjan Mandira Shodhiya Hoila Hena Nijaman. All the rooms were cleansed with 100 water pots. मंदिर शोधिया होइला येन निजमन. He made the temple as clean as his own mind. निर्मल शीतल स्निग्ध कोरिल मंदिरे आपन हृदय जेन धरिला बाहिरे. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made the temple Nirmala, Shitala, Snigdha, Apana Hridaya Jena, like his own mind. He manifested his own mind outside in the Gundicha temple. And therefore, this entire experience was extremely purifying. And then hundreds and hundreds of pots were being brought in. Purna kumbhalaya aise shata bhaktagan shunya ghatalaya jaya arshatajan. Hundreds of filled up pots of water were coming in, hundreds of empty pots were going out. There was total cooperation between the devotees, and nobody was clamoring and fighting that no, bringing in pots filled with water is a more respectable service than taking away the empty pots. Why has he got that service and why I did not get that service? No. Purna kumbhalaya aise shata bhaktagan. Hundreds of devotees brought filled up pots. Shunya ghata layya yaya arshatajanan. Hundreds of devotees were taking away those empty pots because they looked at the entire Gundicha temple cleansing as an absolute seva to please Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath Ji. So therefore, this indicates cooperation. Nityananda Advaita Swarupa Bharati Puri Iha Vinu Ar Sab Ane Jal Bhari. Nityananda Advaita Swarupa Bharati Puri Iha Vinu Ar Sab Ane Jal Bhari. Except these four, Nityananda, Advaita, Swarupa Bharati and Paramananda Puri, except these five, everybody else was engaged in bringing the water and cleansing. And therefore, every devotee was engaged in serving with honesty. So, one particular word is used in Bhagavatam several times to refer to the quality of bhakti. A very important quality of bhakti or a non-negotiable factor in bhakti is nirvyalika. Nirvyalika means no duplicity. And therefore you did not, there was no need to place a supervisor to see who is serving, who is not serving. No. Every devotee was answerable to the Lord in the heart, and they were performing this activity, this service very honestly. Ghate ghate theki kata ghata bhangi gela shata shata ghata loka tahalaya aila. And as those hundreds of pots were coming in, some of those pots would bang against each other and they would crash. But when those pots would break, immediately others would bring in new pots and give. And there was not a single incident of two devotees shouting and screaming at each other, saying that you have broken my pot, no, you have broken my pot. And this service was performed with great tolerance, cooperation and honesty. Jal bhare ghar dhoya, kore hari dhvani, Krishna hari dhvani vina aar nahi shuni. Krishna Hari Dhvani Vina Aar Nahi Shuni. There was only the sound of Krishna Hari, Krishna Hari. Jal Bhare Ghar Dhoya Kore Hari Dhvani. As they were filling up the water and pouring the water and moving the water out, there was only sound of Krishna and Hari. Krishna Krishna kahi kore ghater prarthan. Krishna Krishna kahi kore ghat samarpan. When they needed a filled up pot of water, they would only say, Krishna, Krishna, and the person would give the pot of water. And when he wanted someone else to take the empty pot of water, he would just say, Krishna, Krishna. So the only sound being vibrated there was Krishna's holy name. Jai Jai Kahe Sei, Kahe Krishna Name, Krishna Naam Hoila Sanketa Sab Kame. For all the activities, there was only the sound vibration of Krishna's holy name. And Mahaprabhu was performing the task of hundreds of people together. And he was telling, Shatahaste korenyena kshalana marjan, pratijana pashe jai karana shikshan. And Mahaprabhu was going to each and every devotee and training them how you should clean properly. And then he was telling them, Bhal karma dekhi tare kore prashansan, manena milile kore pavitra bharsan. Those who were cleaning very well, Mahaprabhu encouraged them, appreciated them. And those who were not up to the mark, Mahaprabhu gave them positive feedback. And that is described here as pavitra bharsan. He chastised them, but it was purifying to help them improve. And then Mahaprabhu said, Tume bhala koriya cha shikha anyere, eimat bhala karma seho jena kore. You are doing this cleaning very well. Train others. Let them also do like this. And in this way, Mahaprabhu believed in training, giving feedback and giving equal opportunity to all the devotees. Those who were expert, they should train those who are less skilled. Focus on the mission and not on individual skills. And in this way, one Bengali Vaishnava started pouring water on Mahaprabhu's feet and started drinking it. Mahaprabhu became very angry and looked at Swarup Damodar Goswami. And he says, Shiksha lagi Swarup daki kohila tahare, ei dekh tomar gaudiyar vyavahare. Oh Swarup Damodar Goswami, just see how your Gaudiya is misbehaving. Tomara Gaudiya. So significance of Tomara Gaudiya is given by Srila Prabhupada, that all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are followers of Swarup Damodar Goswami. And in this way, Swarup Damodar Goswami pushed this person out. And then he came back and requested Mahaprabhu to forgive him. And in this way, we see this entire beautiful pastime happen. And so, Srila Prabhupada explains a beautiful purport that the cleansing agent during our practice of sadhana bhakti is the hearing and chanting. What to clean? We have to clean our heart. And how do we clean our heart? We have to clean the heart in such a way that no material desires exist. And Prabhupada mentions that we have to go deeper and deeper and first remove dharma, artha, kama desires. Then we remove the desires for impersonal speculation, monism, speculative knowledge, mystic yoga and meditation. And then beyond that, we have to also cleanse kutinati, fault finding and duplicity, pratisthasha, desire for name, fame and high position. We have to be free from kama, desire for material gain. We have to purify ourselves of nishiddhachara, accepting things forbidden in scripture, like the 4 regulative principles have to be given up. We have to actually follow the 4 regulative principles. We have to give up and become purified of puja, hankering for popularity. We have to become purified of tendency for jiva himsa, envy towards other living entities. And in this way, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his purport to this Gundicha margin, explains that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown that all the grains of sand must be picked up thoroughly and thrown aside. And he cleansed the outside of the temple and he also cleansed the inside. He went from gross to subtle to further subtle. And in this way, in our anartha nivritti also, we cannot stop at any point of time. We have to go through our process of cleansing very thoroughly, knowing that as we cleanse ourselves of gross desires, then the subtle desires are there to be purified. Further subtle desires are there, and the snare of the false ego is not very easy to overcome. And this cleansing of the Gundicha temple teaches us the importance of a thorough, consistent, determined effort in the process of anartha nivritti, in the practice of our sadhana mukti. Now that Mahaprabhu and his associates have prepared the Gundicha temple ready for Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra to manifest, tomorrow we will discuss about the actual day of the Rath Yatra and how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu led his devotees in the Rath Yatra, in the procession from Jagannath temple to Gundicha temple. Thank you very much.
RG Media YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe.